are back with our Walking Dead reviews. Hello everybody, this is Chris here. We are doing the review for Season 4, Episode 14 of Fear the Walking Dead MM54, which I'm pretty sure is mile marker 54. With me, as always, is Jason.
All in all, it's just another walker walking behind me.
I don't understand that.
It's okay.
That's
Someone out there is going to get that joke, and it's going to be beautiful.
I want to know it now. Why that?
You know, like the Pink Floyd song, All in All, it's just another brick in the wall, except for Martha, it's like she collects walkers.
Oh, yeah, she does. Look, okay. And thank you. We'll just segue right into that. All right. Well, no, hold on. No, let's just do a quick recap. Jason, what did you think of this episode?
I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed last episode. You know, the character development for this whole season's kind of been off, and I think that this episode brings up a lot of the points that I've been having issues with. How about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to like this episode. I really do. The concepts in this episode are really enjoyable. The execution by character development just makes it shit. It's just complete shit. And we'll start right there with Martha. So we learn all about her. We learn her name. We learn about her scenario. Okay, here's the thing. All right, I even understand, and I don't take issue with the PTSD she has, and why she has it. Okay, but and why she even feels the way that she does about helping people. But why does that turn her into a violent person? And I'm into a killer, no less. And
yeah, not just like a regular killer, like a violent psychopathic killer who's methodically hunting down and killing people in the hopes of finding one particular person to hunt down and kill.
Right, which is just something she latches onto. I get the PTSD and I get the issue that she has, but that doesn't mean you go around killing people. Yeah. And I take huge disagreement with that. And the situation with Morgan. Also, the other character who's really dealing with PTSD, which is obviously turned into quite the killer. But this is something he came back from. But I don't even think he killed as many people as she has. She has killed several people that we know of.
Yeah, well, and Morgan sort of became a killer of necessity.
And I think that was this. Yeah, he was screwed in the head over what had happened to him, and a lot of that came down to his made a lot more sense because of his inaction, his son was killed.
Yeah,
and because it was his Walker-fied wife who ends up killing their son. He trusts no one, and he gets really he's isolated for forever. He's he fortifies that town and that whole scenario's traps and everything. It makes more sense, but I don't see any reason why she turns violent.
No,
that bothers me. But I accept the whole PTSD thing. All right, I'm good with that. But here's where I lose it. Okay. So you have the scenario with her. They show us what happened. Now that is obviously early apocalypse.
Yep.
If not, we don't know exactly when, but we'll say early apocalypse. There's a lot of cars on the road. Nobody really seems to know what's going on. She sees somebody, a walker, who initially thinks is a person, but as soon as she gets a decent look at him, can tell it is no one or nothing to be trusted. So, but here's the thing. So she's a school teacher. She's an English teacher.
Yep.
All right. So, and from what the show tells us, she's at least in large part been hanging around that area where her husband was killed this whole 2+ years. Because they do a huge, time jump with it, and you see that same walker, which is right there in the road, completely decayed. It had been sitting there for a while. The car's been sitting there, and she's in that same area where that first trucker shows up with the box. That's the same spot.
Yeah.
And that's at least, I would say, maybe I'd even give it weeks, maybe even a couple months. But in large part, it's been 2 years, and she's been hanging out in that area, at least in large part. And
Yeah.
how is she surviving?
Yeah, you'd think that she would have picked all the food and supplies dry.
Well, what little there was, I mean, they give us no explanation as to how she's survived. They could have at least shown her getting out of some kind of makeshift hut or something that she's been living in, that she had created over time. But no, she just pops up in that same location. So she's at least hanging around there. I certainly got the feeling that was some kind of home base for her.
Yeah, no, I definitely got that impression too. More like, she's just sort of been unable to move on in a lot of aspects, know, so she just ends up hanging around that same area. But yeah, right. I didn't quite get how she had survived that long.
I mean, are we to forget? I'm certainly not forgetting that because of the timeline situation they put themselves in, that it's been 2+ years now since the beginning of the apocalypse. They're caught up to the end of season 7. They have to be. And in fact, they're months beyond that.
Yep.
So a big WTF there. She, and again, as an English teacher, which is what she was, and do we get a full explanation of her complete past? No, but she came off to me as a very squishy English teacher, a very domestic person going into this apocalypse.
Absolutely.
I certainly don't think she has the skills to learn to drive truck. But that doesn't mean that she can't pick that up. I mean, I've never driven a semi before, but I learned how to drive a stick. And I think that if you gave me some time, I could probably learn how to do it. Give me a few hours. I'll probably pick it up. But I certainly don't think that she would understand how to use a SWAT van. And to use the guns and how to shoot those guns with any kind of, to even shoot them, let alone with any kind of accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's someone who came off as a very domestic English teacher. How the hell has she survived? Now, they obviously haven't shown us this, but I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching this, I'm like, wait a second, this does not make one bit of sense. Jason, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. On the whole topic of not making any sense, skipping forward a little bit, the whole thing where she opens up fire on the truck. Nobody dies, including the guy whose wheelchair gets blown to bits. You'd think he would have at least bit the bullet.
Yeah, well, his wheelchair did, and I'm not sure how he dragged himself across the concrete like that with a shotgun. Well, carrying or holding onto a shotgun, how he did that with one arm. I'm not quite sure how that happens. They're not helping at all with the whole scenario of how does a guy in a wheelchair survive the last 2.5 years in a zombie apocalypse. You're not helping me believe this.
No, not at all.
No one gets shot. Well, no, that's not true. What's her name? Is it Joe? No, it's Sarah. The character that Mo Collins plays. The chick, the trucker chick.
Oh, yeah.
She did get shot. She got shot in the arm.
Yep. I suppose you're right.
But it's just kind of a flesh wound, despite the fact that they came out of despite the fact they came out of an assault weapon. But that should have shredded her whole body. But whatever. Even though it just got shot in the arm, it would have gone right through and into the torso. But okay. So here's the thing, and I think you and I, to a fairly good amount, have enjoyed the scenario with this whole scenario with this mysterious woman and what she's doing and why she's doing it, and this really just ruined it. Yeah, for me. I mean, I was already questioning a couple episodes back. How is so she's got these walkers on a stick. And, so she can obviously control them to some degree. But from everything I can tell, those ropes, that's like a thing that you use with dogs and stuff, right?
Yeah, it looked like to me.
Yeah, that is, okay, there's absolutely no reason why that walker is not trying to attack her, though. Despite the fact that it's on a stick that's 6 feet, 7 feet long, why is it not still trying to attack her?
Yeah, well, and the whole thing with, you remember Michonne used to carry around walkers, but her whole thing was that she chopped the arms and the mouth off so that they couldn't bite. And once they couldn't bite, they'd, stopped having any urge.
Right. They can't eat. They can't attack. They can't gather food in any sense. So yeah, they became docile. But clearly, that's not what she's using them for. If she had some kind of makeshift body harness that she was using to control them a little bit more, I could understand that. But there's absolutely no reason why these stupid walkers isn't trying to attack this person every chance they get.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, we're coming from someone who's a teacher. Not to say that some of my coaches in high school weren't strong teachers and such. She does not look like she was a very strong person.
No, not at all.
And being, starved and not regularly working out, I question the amount of extra strength she's gained since the zombie apocalypse. In fact, I would probably say that she's probably lost some. This just doesn't make any sense. The premise of what they were doing, I was kind of enjoying, but this, what they've made this character out to be now, and their background, I mean, it is shown. We've complained about some things that the Walking Dead has done from time to time, but this is honestly, I think, probably the weakest thing I've seen them do in either show.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is really bad. It's very disappointing. I don't know who's putting this stuff together over there. Now, so this is one of two scenarios in this episode where it's like, I really want to enjoy this, but you're really ruining the shit out of this for me. The second one was the hospital. The classic premise of being stuck in a building. There's a bunch of zombies out there, and you've got makeshift cast of people of all different degrees of what they can and can't handle, the different degrees of how they deal with being in a tense situation. Because it was a very classic zombie scenario. I was really enjoying that. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's classic, that is like the tried and true zombie formula right there. Stick a couple of random survivors from all walks of life in a building and throw a mindless horde of the undead at them and see what happens.
Right, all kinds of things are going wrong. They got to deal with this. They got to deal with that. They got to separate. They got to move. It was great.
Yep.
I was enjoying the crap out of it. And this is stuff that we have seen throughout the season off and on. Has been the highlight of, well, this is the scenario that we're showing you in this episode, and this is the scenario that we're showing you in the next episode, and that's been enjoyable. What bothered me about this, when again comes down to the characters. So most of these people have met each other in the last day.
Yeah,
but the conversations going on between these characters, it's like they've known each other for at least a little while. Like June makes the comment to Morgan, she's giving him kind of the rundown of everyone's situation after the whole scenario with the truck exploding. And she's like, well, this person's this, and this person's this, and this person's this. And then she's like, Jim's Jim. And I'm just like, how the hell do you know what Jim is like? You've known him half a day.
Well, and the trucker lady's already giving Al her life story.
Right.
they haven't known each other that long.
Right. And so, but what really got me though, and what's the guy's name in the wheelchair again? I always forget it. I always want to call him Wheezy, but it's not Wheezy.
Is it Wendell?
Wendell, yes, right. You always correct me on it. All right. So they're sitting there. It's Al. I think it's Sarah. I called her Joe. It's Al, Sarah, and Wendell. And Al's being Al and is asking, well, so, why are you in a wheelchair? What's your story? Blah, blah, blah. And then Wendell goes on the story about how he's always helped people and how he's always been this person, how, getting paralyzed to the waist down has made him just want to help people more. And the whole story about going into the recruiter's office and getting laughed at. All right, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, and maybe I am. Maybe I'm just messed up in the head a little bit. But I could have sworn that the whole way Sarah and Joe even got that semi was by just taking it.
Yeah, they hijacked it from somebody.
Yeah, they just took it. And weren't they not delivering these boxes? Weren't they, picking them up and taking them?
They were. That was the whole thing. That's why that's why they kidnapped Jim. They were taking their crap.
They kidnapped a person.
Yeah, and then they kidnapped Morgan, and they're like, guess you're coming with us too, since you know we're not really on this do-goody mission.
But all of a sudden, Wendell's helpy McHelper face over here. What?
Yeah, that's a total 180 again.
I mean, this is some weak ass shit. It's disgraceful for this show. You can say what you want about The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and the issues that it has, and sometimes there are things that characters do that are questionable as far as their personality. But I mean, this is going against stuff that they told us a few issues ago, or a few episodes ago. I mean, there's some stuff here that's going completely against things that they're trying to sell about us on these characters.
Well, I mean, and it would be one thing if it was going against something we were told, but we physically saw these characters doing these things.
Right. What the crap? So I mean, I completely can't. I'm completely incapable of enjoying, for the most part, the whole hospital scenario, because I'm just like, what the hell are you doing with these people? Like, Wendell's not Mr. Helper guy. Wendell stranded a guy. And like you said, tried to kidnap somebody else. And when Morgan was like, "Okay, no, we're gonna go save my people," they're all like, "No, we're gonna go do this." They left Morgan on top of a car surrounded by walkers. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, "See you later." Where was Mr. Helper Wendell then?
Yeah.
What is this crap?
I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to pull here.
I don't think they know what they're trying to pull here. That's what bothers me about it. This is some weak ass writing that we have not seen in this show before, not to my recollection. Very disappointing. I mean, do they think that we're not going to catch on to this stuff? Because I mean, at this point, what you have is you have the diehard fans. The diehard fans are going to catch this shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm agreeing with you.
I'm not saying you're not. It's dumb.
Yep. Well, on the bright side, they're off in gym.
Yeah, well, and that was one of the few characters I didn't think they were going to do that to. I thought, the whole scenario they put together with beer and all that, like, oh, this will be interesting. They're gonna do this whole thing with beer and all that. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do with that. That'll be interesting. No, yeah, he got bit. Which, by the way, now we looked that over before we started recording. There was no point where he could have gotten bitten. Not without getting a bite mark through his clothes. I reviewed the tape like an NFL official. I went through play by play with it, and there's a very brief moment where the walker does put his head down to that area, but his shirt is completely covering that spot, and there's no way that he bites him without going through his clothes, and he did not go through his clothes.
Yeah.
So, which means that if he did bite him and it didn't go through his clothes, but he's still like punctured or bruised, it did it with the clothing over him, over the bite, which means he ain't turning into a walker.
No, I think it's just lazy script writing.
Right.
Someone wasn't paying attention.
Oh, they were totally sleeping during this critical episode.
Oh yeah.
Looking past this crap, the hospital stuff was pretty cool. Obvious callbacks to the early part of the original show, but the scenario as well, and especially with them looking to Morgan, and Morgan's just kind of like, let's do this. That was my plan all along, and completely screwing it up. That was good. Yeah, all the focus on Morgan, and what Morgan's doing, but let's just completely forget everything else, like motivations for characters and stuff. And now all that being said, I will say this about Jim. It was another classic scenario for The Walking Dead where a character finally gets over the hurdle of their issue, only to get knocked off after.
Well, I mean, Jim's hurdle was being a whiny bitch, so.
Yeah, yep. And he finally kills one, and he's like, look at me. And then, no, you're dead. You're a dead man walking right now. Yep. I hope, and I had gone through this with you, the next two episodes, 17's entitled, I Lose People, 18's entitled, I Lose Myself, classic Morgan line, classic Morgan saying. I certainly hope Jim is not the person that puts him over the edge.
Yeah, me too.
he's not been a big fan of his anyways. But I don't know, with the way they're writing these characters now and their motivations, maybe they've been best friends ever since they met each other 3 episodes ago.
Yeah. For some reason, it was just Jim.
Yeah, very, very disappointing. So again, like I said, there's a lot of stuff here. I really wanted to like this episode. I should have liked this episode, but their character development, their motivations, it's like they forgot.
Yeah. The elements for a good episode were all there. It just fell through where it counted.
Yep. It's a damn shame. All right, so what are we gonna rate this one? 1 out of 5.
Shirt.
1 out of 5. Mysterious shirt bites. One out of 5. Mysterious character motivations.
Yeah. 1 out of 5 dropped balls.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. 1 out of 5 dropped balls. Where are you putting it?
2.
All right. 1.5. This was. Blech. Don't be too surprised if you don't hear that that little song from the Price is Right whenever somebody would lose the game. Don't be surprised if I put that in there somewhere. Because that's what it was. They lost this game. This is bad. All right, so we got 2 episodes left of this season, and we are going to do a season review with the last one 2 weeks from now. That'll be interesting. We talked a little bit about that so far. They've got 2 episodes to cover a lot of ground. They could do it. And by God, end this black and white crap.
Wait, the big reveal at the end of the season is they're carrying the black and white stuff over to the main show.
Just end this. Just end it. All right. No, I don't mind that Morgan's over here and he's the main guy now. I kind of expected that. Lenny James, as great of an actor as he is, and I do enjoy his acting, he has been wanting his own show from AMC for years now, which is a lot of how they brought him back. You sacrificed this show for it. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't disagree with you bringing him over, but this is, you can't make mistakes like you've made. It's just unacceptable. I mean, this is like, for hardcore fans of anything, mistakes like we saw in this episode is what turns hardcore fans away, and they've had plenty of reason this season to already leave.
Yeah.
This is, that's just some sloppy stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Couldn't agree more.
That'll do it. Let us know what you think. What did you think of these mistakes? Did we get it wrong? Maybe we saw something or didn't see something that we got that all screwed up. Let us know what you thought of this episode. This was a controversial one, I think. Or tell us how we had it all wrong and how this was the best episode of the season. Let us know how you feel. Go ahead and comment below. If you liked our review, please like and subscribe. Any last words, Jason?
Yeah, watch out for zombie cat attacks.
I do not get your analogies this week. I do not understand them.
They're out there and they're dangerous, Chris. Zombie cats.
Alright. Okay. There it is. Be careful of the zombie cats. Alright, that's going to do it for us this time. We'll see you next week.
Alright, bye.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great, if you could throw some support, you can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, pick up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.